Before you get money in open source, an important thing is to have already a critical mass established. And we had that with number one development, number one with OEM, people who embed us. That's the power of open source. Once you're successful, people take your stuff in places and in ways that you haven't imagined and apply it. For example, here at Stanford, I know that a team did research on high available system that was the cover of Scientific American about a year ago. So there's always people taking your stuff, and that gives you a lot of penetration. It's almost as if you're looking at the submerged tip of the tip of the iceberg is visible to you, but the real adoption is under it. So that has deep implications on the business model. Namely, Peter was referring to the cost of sales and the cost of going and monetizing a market. In this case, people already use our software and open source software in general. You try to convince them to buy your value-added services. Very different sell. Is there critical mass or not? Because if there's no critical mass, as an entrepreneur, you will find yourself in a very difficult situation, and as a VC, you will look at it with different eyes. If you don't have critical mass, then you still incur the cost of development because nobody's working for you for free. Oh, and by the way, even if you have critical mass, most people won't work for you for free because we're engineers here. We like working. We're passionate about our works. Working for free is a different thing. Some sales guys think, oh, developers do it for free because they love it. Come on. But it's really just like any normal startup. You have this high cost. And on top of it, you don't have a license. That's really the worst business model you can imagine. Because young startups normally grow on license revenue, right? So you sell your software, you get money up front, as opposed to give it away for free and people will pay you if they need your service. That's a much riskier proposition. So if you look at very young companies, usually the revenue mix is about 80% license, 20% maintenance. And over time, that mix changes. Very mature companies is the opposite. 80% maintenance, 20% license. Why? Because the maintenance is what compounds over time, right? So that exponential growth, what VCs like to call scalability, is actually a factor of the renewability of your contract. Simple compound mathematics. So the scalability of the model is actually in the maintenance. But again, if you start without the license, you're in a tougher situation. So for those of you that have a great software idea, think about, first of all, is this fit for open source in terms of critical mass, infrastructure, software, and do you have a mass market that you'll derive maybe 1-2% monetization as opposed to licensing from everybody? So again, this is not the death of the traditional software model. I think a lot of niches will still, more than niches, a lot of markets will still have the licensed business model. So frankly, no critical mass is the poorly performing stage of the business model. Critical mass, however, and you get the pretty lady. Low cost of sales, marketing, low cost of distribution, low cost of QA, and it's great. It's a highly performing stage.